This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
Yeah, this is Tiny at Obsessive Tiny on Twitter.
This is Michael Lawrence White, and you can find me at I am Mike White on Twitter.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hey guys, this is somewhat of a bonus episode. We're just kind of freeballing this. Welcome to the Obsessive Viewer Podcast. We're a weekly movie and TV podcast that discusses a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show. And Mike, do you want to intro our guest for the day, for the episode?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're just three guys.
I have with me one of my best friends from when I was a kid, and I used to say that. And he used to make fun of me for saying kids because we became friends when we were 12. So this is my friend, and we've known each other for 16 years. This is my friend, Dustin Mattingly.
Yeah, and you can find me at I am Mike White 2 on Twitter.
He's not kidding.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started
love it
that
so
account
much.
7 months ago.
You dorks.
I love that so much. Like, that fills me with so much joy.
Yeah.
I don't use it. I just made it just in case I ever got on the podcast.
By the way, longtime listeners might know Dustin. Like last summer, we had Hoi Polloi on the show. Dustin is a member of that. They're a comedy troupe who does comedy videos, YouTube videos, and I was a part of their 30-minute special recently. But this time it's just Dustin. I know those guys. I like those other guys, but Dustin has been one of my best friends for about 16 years, most of my life. And so I want him to be here. He's here at my house today because we're actually working on our second EP for our band, As Good As It Gets.
So Dustin is the guy that you cheat on us with when you do other audio things?
Right.
He is the one. He is...
Technically, I came first.
Well.
Sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
That's true.
He did, yeah. So we've been working on our second EP. It's called Something New, and it's got 5 brand new songs. And we're super excited about it.
And when is that going to be released?
It's going to be released on Valentine's Day.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is exciting. That's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it because I really like your first one, and and I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I'm saying that because I genuinely enjoy it.
Well, thank you. Some different stuff this time. Some piano. We kind of tried to write some different songs this time.
Nice.
Different sounding stuff.
If you liked the first one, I think you'll love the new one.
Yeah.
Sweet.
For sure.
And can we talk about how you guys got frickin' snubbed at the Grammys?
Right?
Every year, man. Every year.
Yeah. If I would have won, though, I would have given my Grammy to Beyonce.
Well, yeah, because Kanye makes a good point.
Yeah.
You have to respect
every time.
You have to respect artistry.
Yeah.
We're hoping this next EP will get us there.
Cool.
Yeah. You've got the Obsessive Viewer bump.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. But more importantly,
yes.
Dustin is here on a day. I mean, we had this day planned to kind of write music and talk about music and do music things. But this is, of course, the Obsessive Viewer Podcast where we talk about the screen, movies and TV show. And Dustin is one of my one of the friends I know who knows the most about Spider-Man. And there was news today.
Yes, there was news today. There was a vacuum there. Yeah, there was some big news today. That first of all, I just have to say, have you guys heard of the show Black Mirror?
I love Black Mirror.
Right? No, I'm just.
It is by far some of the best television I've seen in at least 8 months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's great. And I've been talking about it a lot. And I love Mike's responses to all the time that I bring it up. But anyway, Spider-Man is going to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be included into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in an upcoming movie, which, I mean, come on, seriously, which one do you think it's going to be?
Yeah.
And then he's going to have his own movie in 2017 that's going to be co-produced by Sony and Marvel, or it's going to be
Yes.
it's going to be a Sony movie with Marvel's production team or
Stamp of approval. Yeah.
yeah, they're creative.
And the first thing I read, like the first announcement that I saw, was that it said these words specifically: characters from the Marvel comic book universe are going to be in the Spider-Man movies, which I thought was a weird twist. It was like a Sony spin on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if we can just get right into our takeaways from it. Actually, Dustin, what did you think about this? Because you're a big Spider-Man fan and you're our guest.
I creamed my jeans, and I'll tell you why. Like when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, I saw it with Mike, and we had a long conversation afterwards. And I specifically remember saying, "Man, it'd be so great if Spider-Man could join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's not going to happen in our lifetime."
Yeah,
and
literally our words.
Yeah,
it'll
not going to happen in our lifetime, and then it happens. Like I got really, really excited about it, and I think it's smart on Sony's part for multiple reasons. First of all, even though Amazing Spider-Man did pretty well globally, domestically they weren't satisfied with how much money it made. Not having to compete with a Marvel movie coming out, I mean, that's a huge help as far as how much money they can take in at the domestic box office.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was pretty smart. Not just that, but the fact that they will get some Marvel Cinematic Universe characters pulled into the Spider-Man universe, or at least the Spider-Man movies. That is one of the most exciting things to me, because as far as the comic books go, and I've been collecting since I was probably 11, 10 years old, Spider-Man is the team-up guy. There was actually a book out for a long time called Marvel Team Up, and it was always Spider-Man and then somebody else. So the fact that is open now to the movies, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Cool.
Nice. Mike and Tiny, boom.
I'll go because Mike's better at this. Because comic books. I think it's great. I love how there's that reciprocity there. How it's not just like, one of the studios just paid a bunch of money to the other one and now they're out of the picture or whatever. It's nice that they're literally working together. That's just makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Did they specify? I thought they specified which movie he was going to appear in.
They didn't, did they?
I thought, okay.
But
They didn't, but I think we can all assume it's going to be Captain America.
It's going to be Age of... Oh, yeah.
Civil War.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. It has to be, given the amount of, how much Spider-Man is a pivotal part. As far as I know, I spent 2 hours today going through a checklist of the chronological order of all of the Civil War tie-in stuff, and you were
going to read everything.
I was going to read everything, and
that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I tell you, Matt, you need to consult with me before you do take on this type of.
I know, right? And the underlying thing is
there's so much crap.
I literally spent 2 hours at my desk going through it, like tallying each one with the file that I had and everything, and then I sent it to Mike, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just read the Civil War stuff in Spider-Man." I'm like,
yes.
"Oh,
yep."
I just wasted 2 hours, but yeah.
Seriously, start with Amazing Spider-Man 529.
Mm-hmm.
Read that, and read Civil War. And Dustin suggested Frontline. Read Frontline.
Yeah, if you read Civil War Frontline too, it's another. I think it's a few more issues.
Okay.
Than just the regular Civil War story, but there's some cool stuff in that I think is it's key to really knowing the characters. By the end of it, you kind of get a different feel for who you think is good and who you think is bad, and it's kind of important.
Nice.
I feel like I might be going out of order, but we're kind of having fun and we're just being comic book nerds right now, so speculation is kind of part of it.
Right.
But the next major Avengers plotline after Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we know the movies are going to do Apocalypse, or not Apocalypse, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right. Infinity.
But
Wars
I wonder the way they reconcile Civil War in the comics is Siege, And I wonder if it's in the back of anyone's mind at Marvel to do Siege. Or are they just going to reconcile for Infinity Gauntlet?
I'll chime in right here, and I think this.
Please do.
Specifically, after Civil War, they did Secret Invasion, and then Siege was the response to
Secret Invasion. Yeah, that's
Secret
true.
Invasion, because they had a whole run of the Dark Reign story arcs that sort of encompassed the Secret Invasion to Siege aspect. So I don't think that they're going to worry about Siege. Not that it wouldn't be neat, especially given the fact that since Marvel has Spider-Man, essentially they could have all the other characters.
Green Goblin,
the chance to have Norman Osborn in an Iron Patriot suit, because we've already seen Iron Patriot in the third Iron Man movie. I mean,
that's true. I guess I wasn't thinking. I think I definitely think they kind of. One of my complaints about Avengers was when they had the Chitauri and they should have done Skrulls.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to be Skrulls.
Yeah,
and so they didn't do that. And I feel like if they did Skrulls, it would almost be like a retread.
Yeah,
of the Chitauri.
I think a big thing why they didn't do the Skrulls is because I believe the Skrulls might be under Fox's domain because of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
okay,
they were big Fantastic Four characters more so. And it's Super Skrull and all that jazz. So
they won't do it. So they won't reconcile it the way they did in the comics. But that's fine.
Right.
The new we're talking about Spider-Man. And so I think we can all assume it'll be Civil War, Cap 3 Civil War.
Right.
Which, oh my gosh,
and
the idea of the Russo brothers.
Oh, yeah, they're attached to direct Civil War.
They're directing Cap 3. Yeah,
that's
Civil
right.
War.
Yeah,
and I think they're rumored also to helm the Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, really?
I think so too.
It's just rumor and speculation. From what I've heard.
Because we know
Joss Whedon.
We know Joss is done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After 2.
Yeah.
But first, let's backtrack really quickly. Mike, what was your reaction to it? Because I don't think we got your actual reaction to the news.
You know, my first one was, is everybody calling me so early? I took the day off today. And my phone started blowing up at like 7:30. Dustin called me. I had a couple students text me. And so it's cool. I kind of have mixed reactions about the thing. I'll start with the positive first. I really think it's awesome to see, Marvel Comics, Marvel Cinematic, Sony, and then in turn Disney do something positive for the fans that the fans have been asking for. Mm-hmm. We know it's going to make $1 bajillion, so of course there's money involved, but one of the reasons Dustin and I were so convinced that they wouldn't do it is because of the money involved, and because they wanted to keep the money to themselves. The optimist in me, the comic book fan in me who used to dream up the weirdest scenarios, is just so delighted that they're throwing us a bone for once.
Yeah, and I'll kind of leapfrog off of that and talk about my reactions to it. I was surprised that I went to sleep early enough to miss this news because I've gotten in the habit of going to sleep at like 12 or 1 a.m. And I just woke up and saw like 11:39 this news broke, and I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of immediately resented it because I was like, oh, now I'm awake, and the way I have my alarm set up is I set an alarm for like 6 and then another alarm for like 6:30 and 6:31, 32, 33, 34.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Oh, I have tons of alarms. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't get my actual like 20 minutes of sleep. But anyway, it's really interesting to me. And during your guys' back and forth about comics, all I thought was, this is why I can't comic book. Because it's so, I'm like, I want to be like a completionist with everything. And like, you're talking about like they're reconciling Civil War with this thing. And then this thing comes along and I'm like, I have like one trade paperback of Siege that Mike, you recommended I buy like that was like 4 years ago. I was like, it's in my book. It was
actually 3.5 years ago. It was in October.
Oh yeah,
it was actually October 17th.
That's so cute because it's right when you started dating your now wife.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
And that was also 3 years to the day before Shocktober in Irvington.
That's true.
Yeah.
God.
Anyway,
Well, I remember it because you were there because you were going to the Thank You Jade show.
yes, that's right. So anyway, my initial reaction was, "This is amazing," and this is amazing, Spider-Man. And then
No,
He did it. No.
Stop the recording right now. It's over.
good God.
I just want to say to you, I feel like we're getting off topic, but whatever. It's a bonus episode.
It's a bonus
We can do whatever
episode.
we want. To catch up on all of that stuff is really not as daunting as you might think it is. Dustin and I have both over the last 16 years we've known each other kind of fallen in and out of comic books.
Mostly for financial reasons.
For financial reasons, yeah. We were kind of both really into them in junior high, and both kind of fell out. And then I got back in and told him to get in, and he got out, and I got, and so it's pretty easy if you just kind of pick your one title. For us, it's Spider-Man, and then just kind of get the main books and the storyline. You can. I mean, I can give you that list. But if all you really care about is the movies, start with Civil War and you're good.
Okay. Yeah.
Civil War is the it's the event comic that I think everyone has been rooting for a movie to be made from.
Yeah.
Since they started rumoring Avengers.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another point that I wanted to make or wanted to throw to you guys. Is it too, like, I know nothing really about Civil War except for I have a checklist that I manually checked off every single issue of like 100 and some issues. Is Civil War, because it seems like it's a vast, huge thing, but is it enough to, or is one movie enough to cover it? Because I mean, it's a one movie thing with Captain America: Civil War. And, there's going to be Captain America and Iron Man, and then now probably Spider-Man. Is it more suitable for, like, a big team-up movie would be a two-parter, like the way that Infinity War is going to be? Or is this it's totally aimless speculation?
Yeah, no, it's really tough. There's no way for us to know. My guess, my hope, is that at the end of Ultron, we'll see something. We'll see the cracks, but I don't know.
That's a really great question.
It is a great question.
Oh, thank you.
And are they going to, like, Spider-Man is the emotional center of Civil War. He's not the plot center, right?
Yeah.
He is our way into Civil War because this is not our conflict. We're not superheroes who need to be registered. We're people trying to pick a side of two guys that we love,
for yourself.
Okay. And so it'll be weird to me. So I'll go back a second. I didn't get to the negatives of this whole Spider-Man thing.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction this morning. And I would just say I'm worried what they might do or how they're going to do it. When I say that I'm glad they're getting their act together and they're giving the fans what they want, the flip side is I hope that they do. And I hope it's not just for money or not just – I hope they don't think just doing it is enough.
Okay. Tiny, do you
Does that
have
make
anything
sense?
to say about that?
Yeah. No, I mean, are you, Mike? Are you worried that like do you think they should have done something differently? Do you think it would be better if Marvel had basically just bought the rights back and Sony was just completely out of the picture?
That would be nice. Even more so, I wish they would. I wish they would start with a Spider-Man thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Captain America getting pushed back? I know a lot of the movies are being pushed back, but Captain America 3 is not.
No, Thor Ragnarok and the Inhumans and one other one is getting pushed back, but that's like
I think Miss Marvel and Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that said, I don't know how Spider-Man in Civil War will be significant enough for me for his presence to matter.
Right, and that brings up another point that they've already said that they're, Andrew Garfield's not going to be in it. It's going to be, I assume, a new
Going to recast.
recast and all that stuff. Hashtag Donald for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
I doubt it.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No,
I
there's
doubt it.
no way.
I doubt he'll want to.
Yeah. But there's also a question: is it going to be Peter Parker or is it going to be that other guy?
I read in a
Miles Morales, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah, I read a quote from a Sony exec saying that it's going to be Peter Parker.
Oh,
Like
nice.
they didn't specifically say Peter Parker. It was like in the context of, well, now we can tell Peter Parker's future. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They didn't blatantly say it's going to be Peter Parker, but they mentioned his name. I'm taking that as it's going to be Peter Parker.
Yeah. And my thought process as far as like speculation goes is I'm wondering if first of all, I'm wondering, I assumed it was going to be Peter Parker, and I was wondering, are they going to go with, like a teenaged Peter Parker, and we're going to have to, and then the movie that comes out, the new Spider-Man movie, is it going to be an origin story again? Or are they going to cast someone who's like 30 or 35, and the new Spider-Man movie is not going to be an origin story at all? That would be my preference. I mean, I don't know anything about the comics.
Me too. I agree fully.
I don't think that they're going to do another origin story.
Yeah, please
I'm
don't.
sick of it.
Yeah, two reasons. They already done two movies that were Spider-Man's origin. Right? And if we recall Eric Bana as the Hulk in Ang Lee's Hulk, after that one they did the movie with Edward Norton, right? The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And if we remember, that was really the kickoff for did that come out before Iron Man?
It came out like a few months after Iron Man.
A few months
didn't it?
after or before, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like a couple months after. It was like the same summer, but it was
and
Iron Man.
it didn't do very well. But if you remember in the beginning credits, they kind of encompassed the origin story within the credits, a sequence of images, and I thought it was tastefully done. We didn't have to go through all that stuff again to be introduced to a new character, a new storyline, a new movie.
Right.
I think they'll probably do something like that, maybe. But the simple fact that they're going to bring Spider-Man into an MCU movie before he gets his own movie, I think they're relying heavily on the fact that everyone knows who Spider-Man is at this point. There's been 5 movies.
And even then, remember Batman 1989? We knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't do an origin story.
Yeah, they
it
didn't
can
do an
be
origin
done.
story.
Yeah. That's my thinking as well.
Right.
That's what I would prefer.
Yeah, and this is after 2 franchises, this is really the cleanest way they can reboot that character. I mean, by having just even like a little bit of like, if not ignoring it, if not ignoring a complete origin story, just like having some exposition, like, oh, this dude was bit by a spider. Cool.
Yeah.
He's now swinging around.
Yeah.
I
just to kind of go back to my concern about Civil War is I don't know if teasing him in that movie will be enough for me to call it worth it. Dustin's shaking his head. Dustin's not sure. Are you happy to just have him there?
No. Like I've said this before. Whenever they those emails got leaked from Sony about the original discussion over sharing Spider-Man, if they had him in Civil War, then I feel like as long as they give him the Iron Spider suit, which
please.
if you've read
They
Civil
won't
War,
do that.
but come on! I feel like it would be a symbol of what we can expect with the union of Sony and Marvel and Disney, because that's something that we never would have gotten before. And we've already seen Spider-Man's suit, multiple renditions throughout all the movies.
And so, like, what? Our introduction of Spider-Man? Is Peter Parker going to be this kid that Tony Stark hires?
No, I think he's probably going to already be an employee at that point. Because if you go back and read Civil War, he worked for Tony Stark, and Tony Stark knew about his secret.
Right.
So he basically asked him, will you stand beside me, and will you have my back?
So
during
when
all
the
this?
movie starts, but the movie, I don't know. It's not going to be what we think. It's not going to be.
I don't think it's going to be anything we're going to talk about. It's not.
Right.
It's not going to be the same.
Although a year ago we talked about Spider-Man being in the Marvel universe. And
yeah,
we did.
That's true.
We were wrong.
I do want to go back to the question that you posed earlier, Matt, because
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to say it.
Okay.
In discussing if Civil War should be a big crossover movie as compared to a solo, like a Captain America film.
Right.
If before they had done Winter Soldier, I probably would have said, yeah, it should be a crossover movie.
Okay.
But the fact that with the solo movies now, they're bringing in more characters from the extended universe. I mean, that movie heavily weighed on Black Widow being in the
Right.
movie. It kind of even weighed heavily on a lot of action sequences with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
True.
And I think the more and more they talk about bringing in these people into other movies, like the fact that Iron Man's going to be in Captain America Civil War, I think that they're going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be a big crossover movie. And I lost my thought. Sorry.
That's fine.
Well, in thinking about like in story arcs in comics, like normally one story in a Spider-Man comic might stretch out to 5 issues.
Okay.
Right? And so for big crossover issues, yeah, they take up a lot of time, big event comics, because they only release them every month or every month. And they take a lot of time to gestate in that sense. But to actually sit down and read them, I think that it could easily be translated into a singular movie script. I don't think it needs to be a 2-parter. I think they could do it beginning to end. I think they could do it tastefully. I think they could do it as long as they have all the players. And I don't think that even when I heard they were going to do Civil War, I know the comic book reader was like, oh, but they need Spider-Man. I don't think that they need Spider-Man to do a successful Civil War
No,
movie.
I agree that they don't, and that's kind of my point. Is he just gonna feel like a taste test in that movie? Like
Probably.
they're just throwing us a bone,
Probably, because again, I feel like all of this
and that's
is
enough
being,
for you.
Well, I think all of this is being done in service of the fans as is.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not well. Okay, I say that, but Sony's looking to make more money off of Spider-Man as a franchise.
Yeah.
And Marvel's looking to make more money having Spider-Man as a franchise as well. Because let's just face facts: Iron Man is their golden boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was before Captain America. I really feel like Chris Evans is kind of taking that mantle.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans wants to direct now. like he's said that.
Yeah,
once
he's
his
talking about being
contract's up-
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think they'll kill off Cap in Civil War. They could.
They might.
They might.
They might.
But if they do, we already know that Winter Soldier is also going to be in Civil War. So we're looking at a roster right now of at least Iron Man, at least Black Panther, at least Winter Soldier, at least Captain America. We can guarantee that Nick Fury is going to be in it. And it's either going to be Hawkeye or Black Widow again.
And maybe Spider-Man.
And maybe Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know,
That's huge.
so there's a lot going on. And even then, like in Winter Soldier, they name dropped Stephen Strange.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
with Benedict Cumberbatch being cast as Doctor Strange, I mean, they can name drop anybody they want.
Right.
So, I don't know. I digress.
Personally, I really hope that they get Skye from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I really love Chloe Bennett. Crickets. Anyway,
Wow.
no. Let's talk about the
I don't
studio.
know.
Yeah. Let's talk about the studio aspect of this because, like Mike, you've mentioned that it's in service of the fans and it's like you're really pumped about that. But I think that the kind of underlying thing is that Sony's really hurting. Like they tried and failed so badly with Amazing Spider-Man 2 to try to franchise it out like Marvel, and then now with the whole hack thing, they're extraordinarily vulnerable. And I feel like that this is more that this whole news is more of a response to, or more reactionary of Sony just really limping to find some kind of life preserver, and Marvel being like, "Oh, hey guys, you got what we want, and we've got a lot of money, and you don't really have that many options left.
Yeah.
Let me clarify. I don't think it's a service to the fans.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm glad that they were able to connect those dots for us because we've been asking for it.
Sure.
It feels like Sony did it out of necessity, whereas Marvel did this out of convenience.
Yes.
Right.
Because like Dustin said, they don't need Spider-Man for this because they have semis full of money backing up to their docs. I mean, they just have so much. It doesn't matter. They don't need him to make money. So it's just convenient.
Even without needing him, they want him.
True. That's very true.
It's a very smart business move.
Very true. Yeah.
And I feel like Marvel, one of the concerns I had was that, okay, Amazing Spider-Man, the first one was pretty good. I enjoyed it enough. On repeat viewings, I wasn't really that crazy about it. But the second one was just so muddied with just unnecessary plot elements and stuff like that, that it just felt like Sony was just like really interfering, trying to cram all this stuff in to just really swing for the fences and try to get a franchise up and running. But
I think that's the best thing out of all of this is that franchise is dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And
really,
one of the things that I think Tiny, I think you mentioned earlier that having it as an out and out okay, Marvel buying the rights back would have been much more preferable. But now they have like Sony's still going to be involved somewhat, and I feel like I was a little concerned first of all that okay, well Sony's still going to be involved creatively in a capacity with the standalone Spider-Man movie is going to be a Sony movie with some Marvel influence. But one of the things that lightens my concern is that Sony is hurting so much that they're not going to they don't have Marvel has the clout that they could shut down pretty much as many creative suggestions that Sony tries to throw at them. Not that there would be any infighting between them, but it's a really interesting and unique kind of way. And with having Marvel Cinematic Universe characters in Spider-Man, it makes me feel just really not nervous or anything, just like almost to the point of being overwhelmed because we have Marvel is such a huge universe right now, and it's so they announced their slate for the next 5 years and 10 movies, and it's oh hey guys, here we're gonna do this. But now it's extending into what will hopefully for Sony be their own finally done Spider-Man universe, and they're going to have characters from another studio's universe influence that, and it's just I just feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe just grew really big.
Yeah. And
it's a good time to be in love with these movies.
Yeah. I just hope they keep making good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people forget about the Thor movies and how
great they are.
Good. And the first Captain America movie and the second Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
And
I loved the first Captain America movie.
Did you really?
I did because maybe it's because I was
You're the one.
No, I know at least one other guy. It could be because I really loved Rocketeer growing up. And Joe Johnston, the guy who directed it, he really made Captain America have that sort of campy 50s Nazis are bad feel.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed the special effects. I enjoyed what's the actor's name who played Red Skull? Hugo Weaving?
Hugo Weaving.
I enjoyed Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. I thought that was a great casting call. And look at all the stuff that we got from it too. I mean, Peggy Carter, who now has a series. Without that first Captain America movie.
Yeah, but is that any good? That wasn't the first half of
I've
S.H.I.E.L.D.
heard
not very
really good things. I haven't seen anything.
I've heard that it's really good too, and the rest of the season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very solid, I'll say.
Yeah, I was bored the first half, and then whenever it came onto Netflix, I watched the second half, and I thoroughly got into it. It won me over, and then I actually rewatched the first half just to look for little nuances building up to the big plot twists in the second half of the season.
I mean, I know that I'm committing obsessive viewer sacrilege here, but and I also don't want to sound like a snob. Please understand that I see all of these movies the day they come out because I love them and I'm a fanboy. But for me, it's all about the source material, and I'm more excited about what Secret Wars is going to do the Marvel comic universe than what this Spider-Man thing is going to do.
Oh.
Okay, sure.
I worry about just basically kind of the messiness of it. You know, you have two studios. Like, this doesn't really happen. This doesn't happen.
Right.
And so the last thing that any movie ever needs is a whole nother set of executives and producers trying to get their opinions into a movie.
Too many cooks.
Exactly.
It's true.
And this deal sort of has the feeling that, like, Marvel's just kind of be like, gonna, in regards to their feelings towards Sony having input in the creative side of this movie and the franchise going forward, it kind of feels like they're like, okay, why don't you just go sit in the corner with the bone that we just threw you and shut up?
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that'd probably be for the best, given the administrative and executive decisions that have been made at Sony over the last decade or so.
Right.
But at the same time, who knows what the fine print of the contract says? Maybe we're going to get some crap like we saw in the past two Spider-Man movies and just injected into this Marvel universe.
Yeah, like who gets the final word, right?
Exactly.
If Sony
Yeah.
gets the final word, and that's not a good thing.
It's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I agree. But my whole thing is, how much is Peter Parker going to dance and have like emo hair? That's my main concern
Listen,
here.
hey, I've done it before, and I will defend that scene. I will defend Peter Parker's dance
He makes a great argument.
forever. I'm not
Okay.
kidding.
No, I know, and then it shocks me every time.
Dustin bought it.
Yeah.
He's
I
on
listened
my
to
side.
that episode probably 3 times.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the Guilty Pleasures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah,
my
that-
favorite episodes, honestly.
I don't want to defend Spider-Man 3. Overall, it's a
yeah.
terrible movie by all means.
Yeah,
But you did a little, and you
but-
kind of convinced me.
Yeah, but the first thing people say is the emo thing.
right.
That's not the worst thing.
And
The dance. It's
it's-
by far not the worst.
And it's not the worst thing in the movie, honestly. Like, I find James
it's the
Franco
easiest to make fun of because emo is easy to make fun of in 06.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a much worse scene is oh my god, James Franco and
Oh
Mary
yeah.
Jane dancing
No.
to Twist and
No.
Shout while doing the dishes or something like that.
Yeah, and then
cooking.
didn't Tiny and I shoot you down and say, no, that happens.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
never
we did.
danced while making omelets.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we did.
you have a sad
We
life,
did.
man.
I do.
I dance making omelets every day.
Yes.
I don't.
I have a spaghetti dance.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
God.
Have you guys read Sam Raimi's, like the stuff that came out about what Sam Raimi said about why he didn't do 4 and kind of his thoughts for 4 that came out a couple months ago?
It was from the Nerdist episode he did, right? I listened to that episode.
Yes, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I listened to that episode. And I feel like the news outlets were just like, "Oh, he referenced the Spider-Man franchise. We need to jump on this." When it was really like, it was kind of like vague, kind of, unless I
Yeah.
wasn't paying close enough attention. It was like, studios are gonna do, studios be noting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
I have a question. With all this information out there, with the change, just off the top of all your guys' heads, who do you think will direct the solo Spider-Man movie? Who do you think should direct it? And who would be your first choice?
Matthew Vaughn.
Oh,
Matthew Vaughn to be Spider-Man?
Oh, to play? No, to direct.
No, Matthew Vaughn to direct. Okay.
Done. End of conversation.
That's it?
Yeah. I can't wait to see Kingsman. You guys?
I'm mildly excited.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think it looks fun. Kingsman.
Yeah. First Class was the dopeness. So,
Oh my god.
so yeah, Matthew Vaughn for sure.
Okay. What about
Boys?
you? What about you guys?
You know, I haven't thought about it. Matthew Vaughn would be terrific. He'd be in my top 3 without question.
Mhm.
Geez, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Mm. Yeah, me too.
I'd be curious to see. I'd be curious to see what. Geez, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The South African guy who did District 9.
Ooh.
Neil Blomkamp?
Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see what he could do with a franchise movie, like not a piece of material that's not his own. Just to see what he could do.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to see Spider-Man in South Africa because apparently that's the only place he can set a movie.
Well, Elysium was in L.A., but that movie wasn't that great.
I agree as far as directing. Like, he's great, but I don't know if Spider-Man is the right take for him. I think he should do something more tech-related because he does a really good job with that sort of special effect.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to see him cut his teeth that way on such a valuable and like a tentpole kind of franchise. Maybe something like if he had gotten something like Guardians.
Yeah,
know.
Actually, bouncing off of what Mike said, Black Panther. I mean, that's the way to go, I guess.
Oh yeah,
right? I mean, I think he could do that. I can see that working.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes
good call.
Yeah.
My pick, I honestly, and this is pure speculation, but I think it would work out great for both studios. Is that first off, we know that Joss Whedon isn't going to be directing anything after Avengers: Age of Ultron. I think if he were to helm the solo Spider-Man movie, first off, he already
Never
has.
happen.
It could happen.
Okay,
it could happen. He already has his fingers dabbled and wet from everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think it would bode well for Marvel having him in the directorial chair. As far as keeping things in a balance, thinking about what else can happen in the extended universe that the movie is supposed to exist in. And I also think for Sony, I mean, Joss Whedon, he was the director of Avengers.
Yeah.
He will make them money, so they will get that name boost, and it would also bode well for both sides.
I have a feeling that Joss Whedon's the kind of guy who I have a feeling he's going to want to move on to his own thing next.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's really done over.
Right.
That's what he's made his name doing is his own stuff. It might be based on previous property, but like Buffy and stuff like that.
Hell, he directed Much Ado About Nothing just on a break from Avengers.
Yeah, which he came up with on his own, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I have a feeling. I have a feeling he wants to do what he wants to do next. That's just what I'm guessing. But I definitely wouldn't shy away from a Joss Whedon Spider-Man movie.
You know what? I would. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say.
Were you gonna take another stab?
I haven't taken a stab yet, actually.
Oh, I want to go anti-Joss Whedon.
Oh, okay.
For it, yeah.
Okay.
Because Avengers was fun, but my big complaint about it, and I probably said this on the podcast before, was just the lack of Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
He made a really, really, really great movie starring some superheroes, but he didn't really make it for people like me and Dustin.
Right.
I agree with that, but I also think that there was a lot hindering on bringing all of these properties together. Into
There is. It's a lot of work. You're right.
And I
There
think
is a lot
that
of work.
not having to worry about that, and not just that, but Spider-Man movies have already existed. There's a lot of characters that we already know. We can be introduced to Harry Osborn in a nanosecond and just click, and we already know who his dad is. We know the connection to the Green Goblin. There's a lot already fixed into the idea.
Yeah,
of the Spider-Man
and
movie.
maybe it was Disney who said, "Hey, let's keep the Easter eggs out." Although I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if they'd do that.
Winter Soldier was Easter eggs galore.
Oh yeah, that only
Easter
added
basket.
to the quality of the movie.
God. I say give it to Edgar Wright. Just because.
That's
Just
not gonna
because.
happen. I don't think he wants it.
Oh, it won't, but I'm just saying, just cause.
I wouldn't fight it.
Oh no,
it's
I think it'd
not
be
bad.
interesting, but yeah. I don't know who I would pick as director though. Honestly, Matthew Vaughn would be a fantastic choice.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire.
Let Tobey Maguire direct it.
Hopefully he dies during the filming.
Jesus.
That is harsh, man.
That is harsh, I know. I hate Tobey Maguire.
What about Dan Gilroy?
Oh, yeah.
Guy that directed Nightcrawler?
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Yeah. So he's already got.
Stop. Just stop.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
Yep.
We know. That ended so fast.
It did.
We were like, don't f***ing even.
Like I stopped it before I started, and then you guys still got on me about it. But no, but then I don't know that. I mean, that's just a stab in the dark. I'm not qualified for this.
In the night.
A shot in the dark. Jacking off with the lights off.
Jesus.
No, but seriously, who to be Spider-Man?
Oh man.
We don't know him. We have.
Yeah.
You think he's going to be a no-name?
I think it should be a no-name.
Yeah, or someone that's in something now that we isn't even on our radar. So a no name. Pretty much.
I don't know if they could do that. Like, I don't know if they would do. The studio would be that bold.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, maybe. What about Ansel Elgort?
Oh,
Who
that
has
would
the worst name ever.
that would actually. I would be on board with that.
Yeah.
But here's my question: If Spider-Man's going to first appear in a Marvel MCU movie, and then he'll have his own solo movie, who gets casting decisions? Because first he's going to be in a Marvel movie,
that's true.
distributed by Disney, by Marvel. So do they get to make that call?
That's a good question.
Crickets.
I think so. I think they do.
I mean, I would hope so. I trust them to make a decision. Not that I didn't like Andrew Garfield, but to have that big of a decision to make, that's a huge call.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that be in the hands of Marvel over Sony.
Yeah, all good stuff, and there's a lot to be learned in the coming months, years. Is there anything else we want to cover with this?
Not with this, but there's more news if we want to keep going.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts really quickly while we're kind of circling the comic book stuff. Fantastic Four trailer. What do you guys think?
Dustin?
I think we thought the same exact thing. It was like, okay, aesthetically pleasing, felt really science heavy, dug that, but it didn't get me excited for the movie, but it didn't make me worried that it was going to be you know, like I'm just kind of like, okay, all right, when's the next trailer going to be out?
Yeah,
right.
I hope for Josh Trank's sake that the movie is good, because I loved Chronicle. Chronicle was an incredible movie. I think a lot of that could have been the actors, but he did a really great job. So,
well, we got one of the Chronicle actors. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, we do have Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. I'm just interested to see. I felt like we didn't really get to see a lot of powers. I felt like a lot of the abilities were kept under wraps. There was like one image that we kind of saw the back of the thing. We kind of saw from a little bit of a distance Michael B. Jordan burst into flames, and Mr. Fantastic started to stretch. Yeah, started to stretch, but it was from an up close shot, so you really couldn't see his limbs. You know, a lot of that we didn't get to see what everyone wants to see to know if they should see the movie.
Right.
But I didn't hate it by all means. It didn't rub me the wrong way.
Tiny, what'd you think of it?
I'm just pretty indifferent to it, just because I really didn't like. No, I mean, no one liked the other franchise that they tried to launch. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna go see it though. You know, just for the sake of the cast and the director.
Yeah. Mike, how about you?
Same thing. I mean, same things you guys have said already. It's I don't care too much for Fantastic Four altogether, and I think it's too early to tell. I'll absolutely see it. I'll see it the day it comes out. But it's too early to tell. Yeah,
I posted this on my Facebook page, on my personal Facebook page, and we got into a little bit of a discussion about it in the comments. But I'm really indifferent to it too. I mean, the shots in the trailer just screamed of like, okay, this is reminiscent of this other thing that was really popular, or this thing like the shot of the car just driving in a cornfield or in a farm like area. It's like. I read somewhere that someone said like this is like Hollywood's like, okay, this is how Hollywood appeals to everywhere that isn't New York and LA, because they think that anywhere that isn't New York or LA is just cornfields and farmland. And it reminded me so much of like 2009 Star Trek and a little bit of Interstellar, and it's like, okay, we've seen this stuff before. And
Superman.
And Superman,
definitely Man of Steel.
And it was just really reminiscent of everything else, and plus the tone just seemed like, okay, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy was great because it was dark, so let's make this really look really dark and tone and I don't know, it's just kind of just blah. But one of the points that I made on Facebook was that I'm almost like I really want Josh Trank to really take off, but he is gonna be helming one of the Star Wars standalone movies, so he's okay. Like he's fine. And then, I mean, the cast is really, really good. I mean, Jamie Bell, right?
Yeah.
He was my feelings toward the movie notwithstanding, he was really good in Snowpiercer. And then, I mean, Michael B. Jordan is astounding. Like, I think him and Miles Teller are two young actors that have both shown that they have really strong dramatic talent in Fruitvale Station and Whiplash, respectively. And I think that they could really just jump into like a really strong, like serious kind of dramatic career. And I feel like, and when I posted this, I felt like kind of an ass because I was like, this is kind of dumb because it's a dumb problem because it's not like they're going to be completely consumed by a franchise. By a superhero franchise, but I kind of felt like maybe this could derail them a little bit from reaching like a prestige dramatic career. And same with Kate Mara, kind of. Yeah, what do you guys think of that?
Those are valid concerns. Like I didn't think of that until you said it, and that's a good point. But at the same time, I mean, I think you could say a similar thing about like Robert Downey Jr. You know, like if he hadn't been cast as Iron Man, what would he be doing?
He'd be doing movies like The Judge, which
right
bombed.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, yeah. I don't mind an actor being tied up in a terrific actor being tied up in a huge franchise like this, as long as the franchise is good.
Right.
That's what matters. But, you know, you made the point, like, what if it's like Andrew Garfield and he's in two very mediocre, if not bad, Spider-Man movies that he has to dedicate almost all of his time to over the last 3 to 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what could he have been doing? I think Mike mentioned the same point about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, exactly.
If the Prince of Persia franchise had taken
the Prince
off.
of Persia theorem.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it. Mike's Prince of Persia theorem.
Thank you.
But yeah, and I mean, yeah, those are just concerns that I have. And I mean, Andrew Garfield is a pretty good example because I mean he was just hot off the heels of The Social Network, which he was fantastic in.
Yeah.
And then, like you said,
who knows? It's too early to say that he won't recover.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the interim between Social Network and now, instead of pursuing like strong dramatic prestige roles, he was tied up with Amazing Spider-Man that ultimately fell apart. But he has Emma Stone to cry to, so him.
And I think it really depends on how. Like I don't think a majority of people really hold Andrew Garfield responsible for the poor quality of the Spider-Man
Oh no,
movies.
not at all.
Like you know, if someone's just not good and they drag down that franchise, you know, then obviously you can hold it against them and they might not ever recover. But
yeah, I'm just saying that. I mean, we'll see what he does after post Spider-Man, but I kind of wonder if like he would have been pursuing better roles instead.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could ultimately become a waste of time for him.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does amaze me, like just thinking about the cast in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Just chock full of incredible actors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all the flaws in the scripts that just left it in shambles by the end of it. I mean, Paul Giamatti in the worst role ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Paul Giamatti is an incredible actor. That was just a waste.
We'll never get to see him. That's
that's
the underlying tragedy.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we'll never see.
I think I'll sleep better.
Oh no, they're
at
still
night.
doing Sinister Six, aren't they?
Are they?
I think they are. I think I also read that Sinister Six is still.
That's disturbing news. I was hoping that all this meant that
It was dead.
all that other was
Dead
out the
and gone.
window.
We'll give it like 6 months and see what they say about that because they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We'll see.
Kind of connected to the Fantastic Four stuff. After seeing the trailer, because Fox has been talking for the past couple years, I'd say at least since Avengers came out in 2012, that they were going to be doing interconnected movies between Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Ugh.
Since they own the two.
Really?
I know.
Ugh.
I know. It doesn't seem like a great idea.
No.
But they're expanding. I'm hoping that maybe they've let go of that notion, especially since it took so long for them to get a Fantastic Four movie running again, and on top of that, they're expanding the X-Men franchise quite a bit.
Yeah, Gambit. Are they still doing an X-Force movie?
I've read that they are doing an X-Force movie. I'm interested to see how that would play out. I'm assuming that it will somehow be tied into Deadpool and that standalone movie, which I think that's supposed to be coming out next Valentine's Day.
Is it
I
next
think that's
year?
2016 Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, quite a few X-Men movies coming out, and then the rumor of a live-action television series.
I want that so bad. Because watching Agents of Shield, I'm like, this is good, like background for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like kind of good, just background, like atmosphere to it. And I feel like, they're sitting on this property of just however many characters that they have they have the rights to. Like, they could have just a full-fledged TV series that to have good background for, like what Bryan Singer's doing in the Apocalypse movie and all that stuff. I mean, I don't see why they don't, capitalize on that, which they're trying to, apparently. So I'm really eager to see if that happens.
I think that they could capitalize on it. I'm just what's great is that I don't think anyone remembers that they already tried to do a live action X-Men series in the early 90s. So
I remember that.
So thankfully no one remembers it, and so they don't have that weighing in on them.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I remember hearing about it on a Now Playing podcast.
Yeah, if you get on YouTube, I'm sure you can find some old episodes. The special effects are just horrendous. I was a big Highlander fan in the early 90s. And Highlander made X-Men, the live-action show, just look like
Jeez. Like, Now Playing podcast.
It's just Highlander. Oh,
man.
God. I listened to Now Playing because of...
Adrian Paul, man. Highlander Endgame.
Jesus. But I listened to Now Playing because of Mike's suggestion, and they have bumpers for their franchise reviews, and like I didn't listen to what was it, X-Men, whatever the show was, but they had like little clips from, like audio clips from it. It was like a pilot episode that they did, and it was like some of the most, like, I was only listening to the audio and I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've heard ever.
It was rough.
Yeah. Well, is there really anything else to go on? I thought I had another point, but I'm just vamping. Anything else you guys want to throw into the mix here?
You're vamping?
I'm vamping because I was
vamping. He's a vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was vamping because I couldn't think of what the point was, and I thought I was going to bring it up, but I forgot it. And now we're calling attention to my mistake.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know either. What else do you guys want to talk about? I mean, Fantastic Four, Black Mirror.
Well, it's not comic books, but they announced people attached to a new Halloween movie.
Oh yeah, you want to take the reins of that one, Mike?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not too excited about it, but we just got word today that Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton, they're the guys who directed Saw 4, 5, and 6.
No, you say that with pride.
They directed the masterpieces 4, 5, and 6 of Saw. So I don't know. Whatever. They're calling it a recalibration now, so there's a new word that they're going to use to talk about movies. Recalibration. There's remake, reboot, re-imaging, reimagining, and now there's a recalibration, whatever the that means.
So is a reimagining like The Wiz is to Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, that's a reimagining.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I don't know. We'll get another one. I'm always happy about more Halloween, and I'm glad that Rob Zombie is not attached to it. It's not going to be Halloween 3. So that's good. I don't know. All good things. We'll see what happens. Too early to tell.
Yeah, and I brought this up in our pod chat about it, but how do you, like, with the whole recalibration thing, I mean, that sounds a lot like what they attempted to do with when they came around to Halloween H2O, and I mean, Bryan Singer pulled it off with X-Men Days of Future Past, with some caveats there.
Yeah, no, I think it's I I think we're giving too much credit to the word recalibration. That was successful, and I even think Halloween H2O was successful. I know it has a lot of a lot of critics, but I really like it a lot. I think recalibration is their new fancy buzzword for we're just gonna do a one-off that doesn't have a backstory.
Okay, that would be cool.
That's what I think it means. I think we're just gonna watch Michael kill somebody.
Just not worrying about continuity.
Just not worry about continuity. It's going to be like Friday the 13th movies in the 90s.
Yeah, well, and then that also kind of sounds like 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, totally. Well, except that those were sequels to 2.
Okay, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
A recalibration is more like Jason X is a recalibration.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no reason why he's still alive because he went to hell. But they take him into space, and they just it's just another episode in the adventures of Jason. It's Jason X. So I think that's what a recalibration is.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely down for that.
Yep.
Another big piece of news that broke as we were starting to record is that Jon Stewart is leaving The Daily Show. What do you guys think about that? It's totally different from what we're talking about.
Is he the director of Black Mirror?
No, but Black Mirror. Have you guys heard about this crazy show, Black Mirror?
Hey, did you guys see Rosewater?
I didn't. No, Tiny, did you? You didn't see it?
Did not.
I saw it a month or 2 ago.
Really?
And it was okay. Is the idea that Jon Stewart's going to start doing movies?
I don't think there's I think that there was.
It's too soon, I think.
Yeah,
too early to tell.
Let me read.
How many times have I said that tonight?
Let me read.
It's too early to tell.
God. Nice. Jesus.
Worth it.
But yeah, Comedy Central just they released a statement. It just says, I'll just read it really quickly. For the better part of the last 2 decades, we have had the incredible honor and privilege of working with Jon Stewart. His comedic brilliance is second to none. Jon has been at the heart of Comedy Central, championing and nurturing the best talent in the industry in front of and behind the camera. Through his unique voice and vision, The Daily Show has become a cultural touchstone for millions of fans and an unparalleled platform for political comedy that will endure for many years to come. Jon will remain at the helm of The Daily Show until later this year. He is a comic genius, generous with his time and talent, and will always be a part of the Comedy Central family. So, yeah, he's leaving later this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the end of an era.
It is a very long era too.
I mean, it seems kind of insensitive to say that he is that show.
Yeah,
because he has a really talented room of writers that he uses. But he is that show. I mean, it
really is.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Killborn 2016.
Really, I think Killborn is my Daily Show host, like Doctor Who and Doctors. Yep. Anyway. Yeah, I've got nothing really else to talk about. Except for Black Mirror.
No.
That'll do it.
That's it.
All right, well, I'll throw it to the pre-recorded outros here pretty soon. Thanks so much for coming on and being on with us, Dustin.
It was my pleasure.
Nice. And do you guys want to talk about As Good As It Gets briefly before we sign out?
Yeah, just one more time. Go ahead, Dustin.
Okay. On the spot. The new EP releasing on Valentine's Day. What we're recording, it's Tuesday right now, so Saturday. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be, if you liked the last one, you're going to love the next one. And hopefully that's a trend that we can keep going.
It'll be available Saturday, completely free. 5 songs for free. You just basically say, I want to pay $0, and you go to bandcamp.com/asgoodasitgetsband, and Matt will throw a link up in the show notes.
Yep.
And download it, spread the word. By the way, our first EP, Something Old, is no longer free as of Saturday. So if this comes out before then, you've got a little bit of time. If not, sorry about your luck.
Goddamn money grab.
You guys sold out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And if I could also just throw out there, ahoy polloi, if you haven't seen the 30-minute special yet, go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/ahoy polloi videos. I would be remiss not to plug that, because hopefully you've seen it. If not, check it out, and we'll have new content coming out soon. So.
Also, I got to plug. My wife's out there doing her thing. She's selling greeting cards. Amanda White on Facebook. Check it out.
Yep.
Valentine's Day cards, Christmas cards, President's Day cards, first day of kindergarten cards, graduation cards, your first period cards.
Yeah, those are good.
Wait,
too.
seriously?
4th of July cards.
There's just like a splash of red on the front.
God, where was this last week?
So
That's
creative.
the 4th of July cards. St. Patrick's Day cards.
Arbor Day
Congratulations on passing your stone cards.
Yeah. And I kind of have to plug, I am selling used condoms by the bag.
Jesus.
You have to wash them yourself, but you get a deal,
I want to plug one more time. My friend Dave, he used to be in a band I was in, Dustin was in, called Thank You Jade, and he's in another band, plays drums for them. I'm not sure exactly what the name of the band is, but he played drums on a couple songs for us, so shout out to them. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Dave! Mic drop. Oh, and I have one more thing.
Oh, my God.
Just real quick, it won't take long. I bought a Honda Fit a couple years ago from Neil Huffman Honda in Clarksville, Indiana, and they gave me a really good deal. And in fact, I still have a service warranty with them, maintenance. So up until even next May, I can get my oil changed for free and tire rotations. So it's pretty much the best thing ever.
Quick shout out to Boonville High School Musket Yearbook. Just want to say hey to my high school students on the Musket out there. What up, y'all? Password on the computer is Dubbles98. That's a little secret for y'all listeners, just so you know. You get on and check out our pages. This year we're doing a Best Pictures theme,
it's
like
awesome.
Movies. Get it? So shout out to my childs out there.
Yeah, and my buddy John Lundy, he has a lawn care service. He's really busy during the summers, but Lundy Lawn Care, check him out. If you watch the 30-minute special, there is a commercial for Lundy Lawn Care. That's his legitimate working number. Call it. He will service your lawning needs. He also is working on planting new grass and landscaping. He does it all. Just give him a 6-pack of beer, and he'll take good care of you.
Let him service you. Hey, you like cheeseburgers? Quick shout out to Frank Spanopoulos, works at Culver's, and Culver's of Corydon, Indiana. Also just opened up a store in Jeffersonville, 2 Southern Indiana locations if you want your butter burgers and your cheese curds. So quick shout out to my boy Frank. What's up, Frank?
Also, I'd like to say my sister does wedding photography. You can find her. Just Google Seneca Mattingly. That's cynical without the L. Mattingly, Mattingly, and she will hook you up. Tell her I sent you.
Shout out real quick to Ryan Otley at R. Otley. Does the art for Invincible. I tweeted him last week. I said, how does the best artist in comics do a page? And he tweeted me back, and he says, it takes about 24 hours. So Ryan Otley and I are bros. Shout out to R. Otley on Twitter.
Real quick shout out. Last one, pornos. That's it.
I like Jimmy John's.
Oh, my God.
Quick shout out to my brother, business coach at Jimmy John's.
Not watching pornos at work. Not watching pornos at work.
Wow. All right. Well, shout out to my brother Ray and his dog Turbo.
Hey, what is this? We weren't done. Take your
Oh my God. All right. Well, that does it for this bonus episode of the Obsessive Hero Podcast. Thanks for listening, guys, and thank you, Dustin. I think.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Peace.
All right, I'm gonna need links to all these things, you assholes, because I'm not googling all this.
Don't. Shout out to Gentlemen and Scholars. I used to be in that band for about 20 minutes.
Shout out to compact discs. We used to buy a lot of them.
And sell a lot of them.
Yes.
Well, we tried.
Shout out to podcasts. I used to do one.
Why'd you quit, man? Why'd you quit?
Oh my God.
As always, loyal listeners, thank you for listening to the Obsessive Viewer podcast. And thank you, of course, to Loud Like for providing our awesome opening theme music. Their first EP, their first of a few actually coming out in the next few months. Check them out. Anyway, it's called Mistakes We Must Make and features our theme song and a clips of events. Make sure that you rate and review us on iTunes after you listen to this episode. It helps us out a lot, and it gives us the ability to say, hey, people like us. Also, please like our Facebook page at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer, and you can follow each of us on Twitter. You can find Matt at Obsessive Viewer, Tiny is Obsessive Tiny, and me, Mike, I'm at I am Mike White on Twitter. You can also check out the blog at obsessiveviewer.com, where all three of us, but mostly Matt, review movies and TV shows and talk about all kinds of things. It's kind of the written form of this podcast. You can also check out Obsessive Book Nerd, which has book reviews and commentary on the evolving world of reading. And also check out Tiny's The Secular Perspective, which is a podcast exploring the concepts of faith, religion, and existence from the perspective of secular hosts. If you have any thoughts on the podcast in general, or this particular podcast you just listened to, or even suggestions for future podcasts, please email us individually at Matt, Tiny, or Mike at obsessiveviewer.com, or you can just email the podcast directly as a whole, kind of directed to all three of us, at podcast@obsessiveviewer.com. Again, thank you so much for listening. We love you. Be excellent to each other.